Chances of being kicked for non-meta builds. I'm not usually one who likes anything meta, just whatever works for me. I've seen many posts explaining how people have been kicked from games simply for not running the correct perks or correct weapons. Now, don't get me wrong, I know for a fact that some perks are much better than others, but kicking for that reason alone, then there comes the weapon debate. You aren't running Artificer Block Chainsword? Get out, fencing noob. Okay, that one got me. Of course I wanted to chime in here a couple times, but this quote is insane. If you ever heard somebody say that, let me know in the comments, because that's crazy. Get out of here, you fencing noob. It's like everyone expects you to play. It's like everyone expects you to be playing what's meta. And with Siege mode coming soon, I fear it will only get worse. I'm not the best player, so I hope I'll actually get to play with some real battle brothers and not the toxic sludge that hides in the Imperium's basement. Interesting. Okay. I have talked about this recently because I was talking about the Absolute 2.0, and by recently I mean like a week ago. But yeah, Absolute 2.0 and Hard Siege mode. Both those modes are definitely going to have a higher barrier of entry if you consider what we see from Absolute right now. Plenty of times I've jumped into Absolute like around level 10. As soon as I get a team perk, to be completely honest, and some prestige perks, I have been just jumping into Absolute. Now, I cannot say that I will be doing that in Absolute 2.0 until I get used to Absolute 2.0, until I start running it with some meta builds, some very strong builds. And I did kind of mention that it could potentially happen where players can be kicked for running off meta. And the only reason I said that is because of, obviously Absolute 2.0 is going to be difficult, but I think off meta and Absolute 2.0 is going to be more doable than Wave 15 Hard Siege mode. Ultimately, if you get a Dreadnought, you should be fine. However, Hard Siege mode, I would say Wave 10 through 15 is a chaos. It's a chaos waves, at least 5 chaos waves. You know what? As far as we know, the devs haven't mentioned about Hard Siege mode like switching out the way you do that. But I think ultimately they definitely want to save chaos for waves 11 through 15, and those waves are probably the toughest content in the game, I would say. Now, to be honest, the only experience I've had with Hard Siege mode from Wave 11 through 15, I was playing with bots, which is unfortunate because I had a teammate with unmatched zeal who ended up leaving. However, I was able to make it to Wave 15 playing Thunderhammer Assault, if you can believe me or not. I believe it was Thunder. I believe it was Thunderhammer. No. Sorry. I've been playing a lot of Assault. I was playing Heavy. I was playing Heavy Bolter. Yes, I was playing Heavy Bolter Heavy. I had Strategic Stand, but what was getting me was just taking too much damage from the Hellbrutes, and the fact that the Hellbrutes have the projectiles that can put acid on the floor. You can't Strategic Stand that. You can't Strategic Stand that while also being under fire and getting ran down by Terminators, Hellbrutes, you name it. Ultimately, I do feel like what stopped me from completing that was not only, getting used to Wave 15, because it was my first experience with it, but I also wasted 300 points on Dreadnought that we didn't get because I didn't have a teammate to finish off the rest of it. I had 300 points stacked into it earlier on the wave, so I was expecting us to go all out with it. Regardless, neither here nor there. My point is, the margin for error is very thin. So I wouldn't be surprised if you jump into Hard Siege mode, level 10, Prestige 2, you're a Bulwark, so you don't have an Invigorating Icon. I wouldn't be surprised if you get kicked. I would not be surprised. This is definitely something I've mentioned, in past videos, just because I kind of wanted to point out that, the barrier of entry for the hard modes isn't so much, mostly it's down to skill, but I believe if you made it to Prestige 3 or Prestige 2, or regardless, if you actually prestige your character, you probably know how to play the game. But it would still be nice to obviously confirm that you can, know how to play Absolute. But yeah, regardless, I could see players who are joining Hard Siege mode a tad bit underleveled. Maybe your Vanguard who's underleveled without unmatched Zeal. I can see players like that getting kicked because they would likely want a Vanguard with unmatched Zeal. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can definitely imagine players getting kicked in those modes specifically. I will not say I should expect players getting kicked for any reason in normal siege mode. Normal siege mode is perfectly balanced for everything, and it's incredibly fun, and obviously you have the chances to get infinite waves, so even if you wanted the difficulty to ramp up during normal siege mode, it's possible. You can definitely go into some very hard situations while learning a new build. So I would say normal siege mode could be the best way to level up your class, just from the fact that it is very fun. You do get experience from, every 5 waves. You do get a lot of experience for that. So normal siege mode is my plan for my off-meta builds, and then hard siege mode, I am jumping into hard siege mode with meta builds. As far as I know, when it releases, I'm either running tactical or heavy, because I have those both leveled up fully, or sniper. One of those 3. Bulwark maybe. I think Bulwark I'll likely save for console. But like for release, I'm definitely running like tactical or heavy. One of those. But yeah, this is just a little PSA about, the difficulty increase and the type of, etiquette you should expect. When it's hard siege mode, nobody's jumping into hard siege mode to try out builds. Nobody's jumping in there to not complete it. So wave 15, people are going to be very concerned with the Vanguard, who's level 5. I don't know why I keep going to Vanguard. The Vanguard, who's level 5 with melee champion. And you're running with a heavy and a tactical, and they're just not too concerned with melee damage at the moment. I mean, hey, you know what? Melee heavy's probably really good for siege mode. You know what? I might run. Okay, wait, no. I cannot start theorizing playing off meta. We'll see. But ultimately, melee heavy's kind of off meta, but heavy's really good for siege mode, regardless. So, if you're fully leveled, maybe have 1 or 2 meta perks, and you should be fine. Ultimately, you should be able to customize most of what you want, but like things like Unmatched Zeal, Invigorating Icon, Bonds of Brotherhood, other type of healing and sustainability perks are going to be highly necessary for hard siege mode. So, definitely wanted to talk about this and just give you guys a heads up because we are 5 days away. So I need to get one more class up to Prestige 4. I'm not too concerned with Vanguard. I've been trying out other classes, playing console as well. I have my Bulwark on console fully leveled and Prestige 4, and then I have a Bulwark on PC who's high level but like Prestige 2 or something. I forget. But ultimately I'm pretty much ready to go. Well, when you prestige, you don't have any build whatsoever, much less meta, and people are fine with level 1s on Absolute, so by extension, no one should care. I guess the only actual troll build would be bringing Inferno Pistol as your only ranged option to Reliquary. Okay, yeah, that got me. That's a good one. But yeah, bringing the Inferno, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Don't jump into Reliquary with just the Inferno Pistol, please don't. All right. Well, when you prestige, you don't have any build whatsoever. True, but okay, yeah. What they're mentioning here is definitely something that is happening with vanilla, like patch 7 Absolute. I have went through Absolute before, level 1, prestige 4. The only time I jump into Absolute at level 1 is when I'm prestige 4, and I only do it once. Obviously, I can only do it once, but yeah, I pretty much do it to test out a class's prestige perks. And it's honestly very fun because you get to see like the base power of a Prestige 4 class, and it does make you like feel like you kind of know more about the class, and you know exactly what prestige perks are, effective, what prestige perks you can potentially crutch on, as far as ammo regeneration for sniper, and how far that goes and all that. Yeah, I've been successful with pretty much every class I tried so far: Bulwark, Sniper, Heavy, Tactical. Those classes I have been able to complete Absolute with those classes, Prestige 4, without any perks. That said, I always say in those videos, you should not be doing that. You should definitely not be doing that. That is highly irresponsible, and I feel like the only reason I get away with it is because my teammates stop questioning, or maybe even like stop being concerned after the first couple encounters, and they see me not go down, or even potentially not get grazed. Like, my health bar could still be full health. Yeah, we're doing the, the objectives in, decapitation, and I'm still full health. My teammates are probably close to full health. Yeah, there's no reason to worry there. You can definitely notice somebody jumping into absolute on vanilla right now, and you can definitely notice if they go down fast, you know they're not ready for it. Like, honestly, the levels don't matter. Like, I understand some people always mention the levels don't really matter. Like, I get that, but still, like, when it comes to information people are receiving, the only thing they can really receive is what level their teammates are and how fast they go down. So ultimately, yeah, the level 1 who's carrying, maybe the teammates won't even know they're level 1, but they will notice the level 1 that joins the game and then immediately go down. So in that case, the level mattered, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't say the etiquette from patch 7 will carry over. If you're playing Absolute 2.0 and you jump in level 1, that's pretty irresponsible. They definitely significantly buffed the difficulty for Absolute 2.0. Just one Terminus enemy. I feel like the devs honestly did it pretty accurately, I think. Because still, most of the operation does not get a difficulty buff. It's just the Terminus spawns. So now we kind of have this extra layer of, what content you need to be comfortable with. You need to be very comfortable with Terminus. You need to be very comfortable with Terminus enemies on Absolute 2.0. And I just have a hard time imagining that, just casual level 1s, casual low levels in general, will be able to, adjust to that. So I would say when it comes to Absolute 2.0, the barrier of entry is definitely going to be higher than what we see in Vanilla Absolute. So I'm glad I saw this comment, because it's definitely the one thing I wanted to touch on. I don't think this is an issue now, as many different builds are viable and being used. Yes, 100%. I do actually have experience of this happening to me in the earlier days. Kicked for not running Invigorating Icon on Bulwark and not healing someone on request. Okay, that's like the one time I can kind of believe that. Oh wait, no, what was it? We had somebody kicked for a perk, but it was because they were running meta. It was much weirder than what we were talking about here. This is talking about, like, mostly, etiquette for high difficulties and how it's going to be adjusted to the fact that high difficulties are going to be buffed, essentially. Hard siege mode being added into the game is definitely going to raise the difficulty of the game. But somebody getting kicked for not using Icon correctly, I can 100% see happening. But it is probably one of the pettiest reasons I can think of. Like, you're honestly using a perk to try to help out your team. Even if they fail it, you kind of just have to let it go, because at least they have it. So eventually they're going to stick it. They can't fail every single icon throughout the entire operation. And if they do, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Hopefully you guys completed that one, and then maybe they can go back to the drawing board on why they're missing icons so many times. But yeah, to kick somebody for that is crazy. Like, it's already a level 25 bulwark, level 24 bulwark. They have other perks. They have other perks that are going to be pretty useful, and then not to mention advanced conditioning. So if they had the contested health fades away slowly, that team perk for bulwark, if they had that and you kicked them, that is definitely a bad kick, dude. That's terrible. But yeah, I had seen a few of you guys talk about some really weird, kick experiences. It's always just something where it's like there's just one miscommunication where it's just like, oh, I picked up this stim, but I did it by accident, and so now they kicked me halfway through the game because I picked up an armor thing. So like they just assume that you're just stealing items for whatever reason. But yeah, kicking somebody for a perk, yeah, it's not something that I'm going to expect. I'm just mentioning that when it comes to Absolute 2.0 and Hard Siege Mode, hopefully we don't see the same stuff we see this time. Which, you know what? Let me talk about that real quick, because what we see with Vanilla Absolute is definitely something that we predicted. 100% we predicted. We said as soon as Prestige hits, people are going to jump into Absolute level 1 without team perks. They're going to be we're going to be more accustomed to seeing lower level players on Absolute. We 100% talked about this. It's definitely a concern. I think it was like 1 or 2 of like the highest concerns of patch 7 and the new Prestige system. But yeah, that ended up happening. Now we see a whole handful of low levels on Absolute, and I just can't guarantee that that is the way people are going to like to play now. Like, when it comes to Absolute 2.0, there's going to be more people who are higher levels. There's going to be more people who are Prestige 4 maxed out. I cannot imagine on patch 8, I cannot imagine people getting away with what we see now, you know, in Absolute 2.0. I really can't. If it happens, it happens. And ultimately, I understand level doesn't matter, but still, I do think it could be pretty bad etiquette, and ultimately is not something I am not going to aim for the Prestige 4 level 1 runs on Absolute 2.0 until I am 100% sure I can get through most of the operation, if not all of it, without, you know, without without knowing what to do, I guess. Ultimately, I know it's just an extra terminus, right? But still, you kind of need to make sure you prepare for it, because you want to make sure you have the resources to deal with a terminus enemy, an extra terminus enemy. So yeah, potentially not having Icon in Absolute 2.0 could be the difference between, you know, taking on that second terminus or failing that second terminus. But okay, I know, guys, if you made it through this far into the video, I know there's a lot to be said about this, but it has been on my mind. I have been thinking about it, you know, ever since I played the PTS. So now that we're getting closer to patch release, this is definitely where I need to just, like, you know, brainstorm all of my concerns. and yeah, if you guys relate to it, definitely let me know in the comments how you guys you know, feel like you're going to expect Absolute 2.0. Do you feel like you're going to see lower levels? That would be unfortunate. Okay, let's finish off this comment. Holy cow, I'm probably 20 minutes deep into this video. There were also people saying on this very sub back in the day that they kick people for not running Inner Fire or Vanguard before Unmatched Zeal was good. Thankfully, those days are now over. I remember that. I don't remember people saying that they would kick people for not running Inner Fire. But I do, sheesh, I remember the Inner Fire meta very clearly. Wow, Inner Fire and Invigorating Icon in the same comment, by the way, since launch. That's still a good meta, by the way. That's still fine. It's just Unmatched Zeal's very good now. But yeah, ultimately, Vanguard players, I'm sorry if anyone kicks you for not running Unmatched Zeal. It's pretty bad etiquette, but just, you know, check your level. If you're level 25 with Melee Champion or something like that, Inner Fire, whatever, I feel like that's fine. But still, if you're, like, you know, if you're joining randoms, I wouldn't be surprised if you know, if you get kicked. But if you're joining, like, players who know what they're doing, I don't know. That honestly goes both ways, because most of the kicks that we react to, a lot of people suspect that it's a duo queue. Sheesh, yeah, I don't know. This is something we're gonna have to see when the game, you know, releases, as far as, like, the, you know, the specifics and if this even is a concern. But ultimately, you should not expect the same etiquette in Absolute 2.0 to what we see now in the vanilla game. Because in the vanilla game, you can get away with being like level 5, level 6, level 7, whatever. But in Absolute 2.0, I'm not 100% sure if you're going to be able to get away with that without seeing a kick or two. Hopefully not. But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if a duo queue kicks players instantly as soon as they see that they are under-leveled for Absolute 2.0. We will see. We will see. Ultimately, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Do you expect people to get kicked for playing off-meta? Will the etiquette kind of change to what we see now from, you know, Absolute Patch 7 to Absolute Patch 8? Regardless, let me know in the comments how you guys feel. Thanks for watching.